When we first bought Tangaroa up in Alaska, we had no idea how we were going to get her south. What we did have was an old police laptop, a copy of a navigation software we barely tested, and a whole lot of miles in front of us in January. That trip kicked off a system we've come to trust so much. It's the same one we'll be relying on to get from Canada all the way to Japan via the Aleutians. In this video, we'll show you how we picked our navigation software, how we built our entire navigation setup around it, and why even our boating friends are running it now. We're Blaine and Janice, and this is Tangaroa, our 1969 78-foot aluminum yacht we found abandoned in Alaska. So far we've ripped out the old Detroit diesels, rebuilt and marinized a pair of Cummins truck engines, and tackled wiring, grinding, and fabricating from bow to stern. But we're just getting started. There's so much more to come. We've got big plans for Tangaroa, and the goal isn't just to live aboard, it's to take her across the Pacific to Japan by way of Alaska. If you're into boat work, engine rebuilds, and making old things new, subscribe and join us on our never-ending sea trial. This story starts 5 years ago. Janice and I had just purchased Tangaroa, and it was time to bring her down from Alaska. But we had no navigation, anything on this boat. There were some charts, but there was no working GPS. There was no chart plotter. There was none of that. We had systems untested on this boat. We weren't really ready, but we had to have something to get us down. And when you're sitting up in Alaska and you're coming down from some of these places, you've got some tight channels, and sure, you could operate off of a GPS and charts, but it's slow plotting on a chart. And some of these channels are pretty tight, and you're making a lot of changes fairly quickly. So it just really helps to have a good chart plotting system. Now, we didn't have anything, as I said, on board, so we got a Panasonic Toughbook. Now this is an old retired police MDT, and what the MDT stands for is Mobile Data Terminal.
Okay, you can ask your cop wife.
I'll ask my cop wife. So the beauty of these mobile data terminals is that they have built-in GPS, which is phenomenal. Now, I'm a techie kind of guy. I wanted a navigation system that was expandable to what we wanted. I definitely wanted big monitors, something that's easily visible, easy to work with. And I wanted integration with pretty much everything. Unfortunately, we had just purchased Tangaroa, so we didn't have a big budget at that time built up yet to do a lot of upgrade work. But we needed something. So like I said, we've got the MDT. So we turned to TimeZero. There were a few options of items or other software that we could have used. I mean, for starters, we could have gone with, say, an MFD from another company. When I say MFD, that's multifunction display. You get these from guys like Garmin or Raymarine have good ones. I think another one is Lowrance makes some as well. The biggest issue with those is what I found is they don't have as powerful of a processor as what you can run with the TimeZero. They're quite expensive for anything with a big monitor, and I had to have a big monitor. I mean, and when I say more expensive, we're talking exponentially so. They do offer a few other things, but I didn't need any of that. Another option that I looked into was OpenCPN. It's a free version, I guess, an open source version of a chart plotter. Unfortunately, it was a little bit clunky for what I was looking for, and it didn't have the integration that I was looking for, say for radars or depth sounders and things like that. So none of it really fit with what we wanted to do, and TimeZero did. So it was a pretty logical choice for us. And I was also looking into the future with this. I didn't want to change things later, so I wanted a system that I could build on as we progress with the boat, as we came up with more budget to buy more electronic items. And TimeZero allows me to do that step-by-step build for a complete system for what I'm after. So Janice and I, as we've told you guys in the past, used to work on big yachts. And when we worked on yachts, the navigation system of choice for what we used was Noble Tech. Now, back in the day, Noble Tech and Maxi combined and became TimeZero. And I mean, even back in like 96 to 2002 when we worked on yachts, this was a good system. And now we're this many years down the road with nothing but improvements on that system. And it is pretty phenomenal. So, I mean, these guys have a great background and have just made an even better product over the years. we were looking for software that would solve all of our navigational system issues. It was a completely comprehensive solution for what we were after. We got that. I was looking for something that would integrate radar, our sounders, the navigation setup, automatic routing for everything, integration with our autopilot for automatically following courses. And this was something that TimeZero did. And it did it in such a way that you could do it in modules. You didn't have to get the whole system at once. And the way TimeZero works is it's sold as a module-based system. So you can buy the base navigation software system. In our particular circumstance, that was TimeZero Professional. And that comes with the radar module built into it already. So we already had a nice, powerful navigation system with radar integration into it right away. That was something that we didn't have to pay for extra modules with it. It all came in that initial system. Now, you'd have to think about reliability as well. And sure, you've got these MFDs and everything out there that you can buy, the multifunction displays from other companies. And I had seen a lot of issues with those, like screens having problems, delamination, a lot of stuff like that, mainly from sitting in the sun. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to buy another $10,000 MFD 10 years down the road when this one has completely delaminated or had a problem. What I'd much prefer to do is just to buy a new monitor at $200 or $300 and put that in and have the system work just fine. And this system can be as reliable as you build it. I mean, we run a little mini PC in there and it works great. But when we started, like I said, we started with a Panasonic Toughbook. We went to a big full desktop PC for a little while because we had one kicking around. And now we're down to a little, I think it's a HP Office desk or something like that. It's a little tiny PC and it works great. Super reliable as well. Beautiful little police MDT. It worked, like I said, it worked great on the way down, but there's a few drawbacks with it. We didn't have a satellite compass at the time, so our GPS accuracy was not as good. You can see right here at the top of TimeZero, it actually tells you real time what your accuracy is. I mean, we just dropped down to 410 feet of accuracy there for a moment. For reference, with the new satellite compass, we're at 2.5 feet. Not only that, the other big drawback is this doesn't have a compass in it. It is purely going by GPS. And the problem with that is it depends on movement to actually give you a course line of where the boat is headed. And the reason why that's an issue is, as I've said, going around Alaska and northern coast of BC, you have some tight passage areas. And other times you might have some fog where you can't see where you're going. You don't have any references on shore, and you're watching your heading line on the MDT or a compass, which is always a nightmare to work with. And your MDT may be waving around because that satellite accuracy isn't good enough to properly maintain a fixed stable course heading. So that was some of the things that we had to deal with on the way down. And we did get into some foggy or dark times where we were coming into Ketchikan or something like that, and we couldn't see land, and there were no references for us to go off of. So we were going off of this and the compass, the magnetic compass, which is a pain in the butt. It really is, because we didn't have any autopilot then. It was all hand steering. So it was taking us back to the days where you're navigating. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of the drawbacks with this. It's a smaller screen. Not only that, being the GPS is built into it, when it's inside of the boat in the pilot house, reception was not ideal. So yeah, it took a little bit of getting used to, but it was still a good tool to get us down from Alaska. Now, funny enough, we actually still have our original course from Wrangell down to Victoria still on the computer here. And you can see our course all the way down. And then you can actually see all the little yellow dots. And these are dots that we put in places that we stopped on the way down or had planned to stop at. Some of them we might not have, but we were just able to plug it all in. And that's all there permanently. And that's actually saved in our cloud as well. So it's all floating around on the internet for us to download later. Now, this trip down with Tangaroa started December 28th of 2019, and anybody who has been up to this area or knows this area, January, December, that is a really crappy time for weather in this area. You get some pretty nasty storms, and it can definitely make for a miserable time. One of the benefits that we had at the time with TimeZero is weather routing. So we were actually able to, and it is based for a lot of it around sailboats, and it will do vectoring. It'll handle a lot of that, so it's super effective for sailboats. But even for power boats, it would show us our weather along the way. It would show us what the wind was doing as we went, and we could watch the whole route in real time on what we were going to have. And that was really, really apparent. I mean, a lot of the times we were still going out. If it was blowing 20 knots, we were just heading out anyway because we knew we'd be able to handle that. But one of the times that it really came in handy is we were leaving Nanaimo, and pretty nasty storm leaving Nanaimo, and we were watching weather, and TimeZero said that 11 o'clock the next day, the weather was going to clear, and we weren't going to have the wind that we had. So we set up all of our routing for that day to leave at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and we would do that first hour or two inland waterways, and then we got into some more open areas. So it was like clockwork. I mean, 11 o'clock hit, and the wind dropped down to nothing, and the rest of the trip was glassy calm. It was down to the minute almost, and just super impressive. And to have that confidence to be able to do that, really nice. So you guys can see what we have here running now. Obviously, we didn't start with that. We started with the old police MDT when we brought the boat down, and then we upgraded. We ended up going with a desktop PC, kind of like this. Izzy's taken over the countertop here for the time being. But we had basically that running where we could do everything just with that, because none of this console as you see it was here. We had an old big CRT radar that dropped down 3 feet into the deck here. It just, none of this would have even fit here. So we had to build everything around these two monitors to get what we wanted, and super happy with that. Bringing Tangaroa down from Alaska in the winter time was a pretty good test for the system, and it was definitely all the confidence to make us comfortable with building a full system around it. Now, as I said, we started off with just the navigation system on our little MDT. Well, as you can see, it's kind of expanded since then. First major purchase. Now, TimeZero is built pretty much around integration with Furuno hardware, and anybody in the boat scene, you know Furuno is pretty good quality stuff. They've always built good equipment, and they've got a huge following. We've loved it. First thing I purchased was a satellite compass. It's the SCX21, I think is what we've got. And what that does is it just basically gives TimeZero its main navigation input. It's not only a GPS, it integrates in a compass, and what it does is it pulls in 5 GPS antennas, and it can figure out by some sort of black magic which way you're headed. So it's not, you don't have to have any vessel movement for the system to know where you're pointed. It always knows. Like, we're sitting here, we're not moving at all, and as you can see my little boat here, it's got our actual heading. It's right down the little channel here, and we are pointed right down the little channel here. So it is incredibly accurate. Matter of fact, I showed you guys before the little GPS status with accuracy. We're at 2.5 feet of accuracy on this right now. And I do like this window with TimeZero as well, because if we're coming into a tight area, it's just a quick glance for me to look down and know that I've got good satellite coverage and my accuracy is really tight. And honestly, with the Furuno satellite compass, I've never seen anything other than 2.5 feet. It is perfect all the time and works incredibly well. So once we had all of the main navigational stuff set, where we could plot a course and go, we would always have super accurate positioning, it was time to move up from that. So the next thing we did was we did the radar. That was a DRS 12A. We got that used on eBay, because thank you guys down in Florida that always want your brand new top of the line stuff and sell your old stuff for pennies on the dollar, you're our kind of people. So very good deal on a Furuno DRS-12A 6-foot boom radar, and that integrates right in with TimeZero as well. So as I can go in here, go into my radar, and I can actually turn this on. Now, there's a couple of things here to keep in mind. So we've got this radar screen, and it works just like any other standard radar would. Or you can go into an overlay. So I can take my main navigation screen and I can just do overlay right on top of that. And I can actually sync up my distance with my radar so it shows the range of where my chart is set to right now. So as you can see, I've got full radar coverage of everything that we're doing right now. I've got all my controls for my radar integrated right into TimeZero. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of clutter out there. So I'll just turn up the gain a little bit for the rain side. So that basically takes out the upper stuff. And as you can see, it'll just slowly work that away. Absolutely love it. It works really well. We were actually just commenting today, you can watch birds fly by on the radar. I mean, it shows a bird track that just looks like a really fast boat going by. So yes, it's super, super effective, and can't say enough about that. That has worked phenomenally. With these two monitors, this is something that is native in TimeZero Professional. So this is not two computers. This is one computer that's controlling two monitors. And as you can see, these are two independent workstations. So what I play on this one, I don't have to play on this one. I can do whatever I want on whichever monitor. So like right now, I can do planning. I can go through, I can set future plots for my courses. We can look at weather here. I've got a sounder module where I can turn that on, and we've got all of our fish finder stuff happening within this system. So that's pretty huge, because as I said before, for MDT or for MFDs, multifunction displays from other manufacturers, this kind of stuff is crazy expensive. I mean, if you were to get a multifunction display in this size, they're like $7,000 to $10,000, and that's times two, because they don't make just a repeater monitor. At least they didn't when I got this stuff. So this, like, I think each one of these monitors was around $300, and they are full touchscreen monitors. I don't need any mice for them. I can do everything just with the touch of a finger, just like an MFD in a boat. Some of them don't even do that. So yeah, it just, the power of this system is amazing. And the final latest upgrade that we've done with the system was a sounder module. So what we've got here is, this is the digital fish finder one from Furuno integrated in, and this is all done via network. So it's Cat6 cable, RJ45 ends, and it just talks over the network. And it, just like the radar, I've got all of my fish finder functions. I can change everything right here within the software. There is no separate fish finder off to the side. Everything is integrated in with this system. And there is some redundancy as well. Like, we do keep the MDT on board. So if we should have a failure with the system that we have here, that's a backup for that. It can actually network in with the radar and the sounder. So there's just a lot of flexibility there, and super happy with that part, because I like redundancy. Since we've installed this system, and I've been raving about it to family and friends and whoever else will listen, I've managed to get that installed on my brother and sister-in-law's 50-foot Silverton. They've got a little bit different configuration, super amount of flexibility with these systems. So for theirs, they're only running one monitor. They're running TimeZero Navigator, which is the kind of more entry-level system. We're running the Professional on board. And they've got a different hardware setup as well. They're running the same fish finder, but they're running a waterproof monitor because they're running it up on their fly bridge. It's also a high sunlight visibility monitor, so it runs a very bright backlight on it, so you can see it in the sunshine when you're up on the fly bridge and you got lots of sun coming in. So it's just specifically configured for their usage, and that's one of the beauties of TimeZero. I've also installed a system on a 100-foot Nordland that I work on occasion, not so much anymore that we've left on our trip, but it was an all-interior. And obviously on a 100-foot boat inside the pilot house, you don't get moisture, you don't get rain, you don't get spray. It is a dry environment. So it's kind of like what we have here. He's got touchscreen monitors, he's got a same basic PC that I use, and it does everything for him as well. And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to end up doing some upgrades over the years for some of the other equipment, because right now he's running some of the other MFDs as well. He's got both Raymarine and Garmin on there, as well as the TimeZero. So he's reached out quite a bit. Another kind of funny one that we noticed is we were watching the latest winds video, and they were getting, I guess, hitching a ride on a friend's or a subscriber's long-range cruiser yacht. And we noticed when they were going through there, not only did we see ourselves in the background as they were passing through Prince Rupert and we were on the dock behind them, but they were also using TimeZero as well. So yeah, it's out there, and I think these days it's getting pretty good traction just because of the amount of capability that the system has for a navigational system and integration with a lot of items. Now, working on this Nordland 100 foot, I noticed that when I installed the new TimeZero software, it was the latest version of the software, which was version 5. I had no idea that even existed. We were still on version 4. So Janice got in touch with TimeZero to talk about the newest software. And long story short, we ended up as ambassadors with them. And in full disclosure, ambassadorship comes with a few perks. For starters, they've upgraded us to the latest version of the TimeZero software, a couple of other little bells and whistles within the software, and they actually gave me 1 hour's worth of a one-on-one session training with the software as well. And honestly, you know, it's kind of amazing because we've been talking and promoting this product for like 5 years before we even were dealing with TimeZero. So I feel it's a pretty good fit for us to be with these guys now, and it's been pretty amazing since. Now, in the future, we're going to have a few more cool upgrades happening with this system. I've got some sounder module stuff that's going to be coming up. Think you guys will like it. And this is the stuff that's going to be bringing us around the world. And first stop with that is going to be Japan. One of the things that we discussed with TimeZero becoming ambassadors is if we could be provided with a discount code for you guys. And you can get that right here. That's for a 10% discount. This isn't an affiliate link. This is purely a discount. We don't get any kickbacks off of this. It's just a 10% discount for you guys for the TimeZero Navigator software. So check it out. And if you're interested, and you should be because this is really cool stuff, go there, purchase it, and enjoy it because it's amazing stuff. If you're into big projects, long crossings, and gear that makes it possible, hit subscribe and follow along. And if you want to see where Tangaroa is right now, check out our live tracking map over on our website at onboardtangaroa.com.